Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the HORUS Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and I'm really pleased to announce that we have Pete and Dan back for 1,000 Suns and Space Wolf smash up today. I'm really excited about it. Now, you guys, you've been working furiously away in the background, haven't you?
Yeah, a little too hard, I think.
It's all consuming, I think, is probably the...
I think it's probably more noticeable in your army from last time we were here.
Yeah.
Because most of your units there are robots, Fire Raptor, Vindicator, Sekhmet conversions.
Yeah.
That's all new to this.
Yeah.
Whereas...
since the book came out, I got so many new units, it was...
Got in loads.
Yeah.
I think last time we came on we didn't have... Well, we did for like the intro, but we didn't... I don't think I had like... When we had played a game, I didn't have the Leviathan or the Land Raiders.
Sure.
The Land Raider or the Rhino, and of course we got Deathsworn as well for this, so we've got one of the feature units. That's quite cool.
So we've got lots of new stuff to showcase you guys at home, so hopefully you're looking forward to it as much as we are. Now, this will be the first of 4 games, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We'll do four games from the campaign. Yeah, that's the. So yeah, we'll start with Fear Not the Witch and work through some other select games from the campaign, concluding with Magnus and Russ. Is the intent.
That'll be the final one. So we're looking forward to Magnus coming out at...
yes, that's the end
Fest.
of, well, what will be this month.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely. So looking forward to that. So we are going to do things a little bit differently today. We're aware that you guys out there at home are pretty well experienced. You know a lot of the rules. You know how to play the game, of course. So we don't want to baby that too much for you. We're not going to go through the list individually, but we are going to flash those up on the screen before the game, so you guys can really dig into what these two guys have taken. So the mission we've chosen today is Fear Not the Witch. As you mentioned,
that's the
Pete.
first campaign mission. Yeah, so essentially, Space Wolves will be the aggressor. We've gone for the breakthrough deployment. We rolled on that. So Space Wolves are going to start in a big V pushing forward to a more conventional kind of Dawn of War deployment for the 1,000 Suns.
Run away and hide, I think, is probably going to be my game plan.
It's a straight up fight, essentially. Victory points are for killing units, so every unit is a victory point, but the secondary objectives are Space Wolves will get additional victory points for successfully killing psychic units, and 1,000 Suns will get additional victory points for killing Space Wolf units with psychers. Essentially, it doesn't have to be psychic powers. We kind of discussed this. It's just with psychic. So if his Sekhmet kills them with shooting the bolt gun, that's kosher. It's still a psychic unit that's killed something, you know. So, and then Warlord is the other.
Yeah, Slay the Warlord.
Yeah.
So there's a few points up for grabs.
So I want his Warlord because that's a unit.
Yeah.
Warlord. Psyker. 3 points. And his Warlord has unwaveringly in every game we've played not died.
It's just now you've cursed it.
It hasn't, he never dies. So.
Should be good.
Dirty.
He's just a Praetor.
He's a Praetor Tribune. He's
got
a psychic mastery level of
3. He has to take 3 because it's part of my
dirty list.
No, it's not my dirty list. My right of war is I need either one of the name characters. Well,
which right of war is it?
We'll flash that up on the screen. Don't worry about it.
Cool. Sorry.
We'll put all the details.
I don't want to give too much away right now.
Cool. We've rolled for Warlord traits and stuff as well already, and done all that. So,
cool. And that'll be included on the list as well. When I put them up, you'll know what Warlord they've got. A couple of things I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to how the Castellax are going to come on today. You know, obviously I have quite a few Castellax myself. And these new models are spectacular, aren't they?
I'm absolutely over the moon. To be honest, it doesn't matter how badly they play in game. I'm still going to have them just because they are that pretty.
They are so cool. The cast as well on those in particular looks a lot crisper than the current Castellax cast, so we're quite excited about that. But there's also a bit of a rules query around these models. Is that right, Dan?
They are listed as having power claws.
Yes.
Now we can't find the rules. I've emailed Forge World, had no response. What I've done is I've reached out in a few Facebook groups and things, spoke to basically the internet at large. And the overwhelming consensus seems to be that somebody's heard, somebody said, somebody's dog sitter spoke to Alan Bly at the open day, and apparently he confirmed that they were power fists, just like orc power claws.
So are we doubling their strength? So essentially strength 10, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so strength 10 AP 2.
Yeah, cool. That's the way we play.
That's how we're going to run
it may be confirmed completely different, but we are kind of shooting in the dark. And
as they have 2, do they get the +1 attack?
We discussed this as well. Pete seemed to say he said yes, and
you're happy to remember that.
Yeah,
if your opponent's okay to go with that, I wasn't pushing for it.
It's like usually units say profile includes the 2 close combat weapons usually. So it's a bit grey. The rules aren't written consistently across any of the books. So I think we'll run like that. We'll see how it goes. If it's we're making a decision. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah. So that's how we're running them. If you guys have got any ideas, you can contact us direct through the channel and take it from there. But that's how we're running today. And Leviathan, I'm quite keen to see how this works out. It's not in a drop pod, which is the current meta at the moment.
I can't put one thing in a drop pod while the rest of the army walks on. It just doesn't feel right for me. I understand tactically and why, rules to winning and game stuff. That's how people do it. But for me, if something's in drop pod, I want the army in drop pods. I want a narrative justification for it.
Well, I can, and you at some point during this campaign you will see mine in a drop pod. So.
but that's why I've gone for the storm cannon as well. So I've got a bit more range. So he's doing. It's maybe not the most potent output for it, but it's keeping it in the game from turn 1 anyway. So.
I still think the melter cannon on them things is just
absolutely
crazy
good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Cool,
great stuff. All right, well, I'm really keen to see how this folds out. I'm quite lucky because I'm filming today and I get to see it firsthand, so very excited about that. Now, have we decided who's going first? We haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that yet. No.
Great stuff. All right, well, we will come back to the table. We'll show you the table. We'll show you deployment, and then we'll go from there.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Brilliant.
Cool. So Space Wolves have one deployed and are intending to go first, subject to some shenanigans.
No. It's quite an easy seize coming up. I think we're going to be fine. It's no problem. No, definitely not.
That's
we
right.
We didn't want to go first anyway.
Space Wolves will go first.
It's overrated.
Space Wolves turn 1 movement then. So first up, we've got first Grey Slayer squad pushing up through that gap and going first. There's a tactical decision there to put them through first rather than the Leviathan. I want to try and get some shots off that Land Raider that's advancing into that Vindicator before the Leviathan rears around that corner. Also, the Leviathan can see over the Grey Slayers, which is helpful. Warlord and his Cataphractor unit are just moving up behind. We're using the Land Raider as cover, as are the other Grey Slayer squad, being a bit more cautious, just moving up behind that Land Raider. And then out on the flank there, the Rhinos powered forward 12 inches, just gunning down on that rotor cannon squad up in the landing pad. Really, that's turn 1 movement. Space Wolves shooting phase turn 1. The 2 Grey Slayer squads have both run. First squad there have run forward 5 inches, rolling a 4, but the +1 for their rule. And the second Grey Slayer squad are running out past that Land Raider, eager to get into the fight, and they rolled a 6. They've moved a whopping 7 inches. So starting with the Land Raider then, the Twin Link Las Cannon's going to fire at the Vindicator, and the Heavy Bolter's going to fire at the squad in the corner. Line of sight's pretty sketchy, you can only see 1 unit on the squad, but we'll start with the Las Cannon on the Vindicator. So it's going to be a 3 to hit, and it will be a 4 for a glance, 5 for a pen. It's got a front armour of 13, so we no joy. And then the Heavy Bolter then onto the squad at the back. Now I can only actually kill 1 guy, but will be 3s to hit, 3 hits, and we will be 3s to wound. Ooh. So that's 3 wounds, but I can only hurt 1 dude.
No problem. I'm going to make all 3. Confidence is key. Oh, cocked or?
Yeah, that's cocked.
No, dead anyway. Karma.
Okay, the Rhino moved 12, so it's going to snapshot its multi-melter at the Sekhmet Terminators over here, which are Colt Raptora, is that right?
That's correct, yeah, which gives them kind shields, which is +1 to their invulnerable, so they
Sweet.
being Tartarus.
So we'll start off with that snapshot then. 6 to hit. Nah, no joy. Cool, so not the most dramatic of shooting phases for the Space Wolves, but a good start. We're pushing forward and we've got some shots off. See how it goes.
Right, Thousand Suns, turn 1 movement. Well, we survived quite well after the first turn. He only took 1 legionary off, but he is a lot closer, which is a bit scarier. We have really not moved forward very far at all. I've bought that tactical squad at the end. I rolled to get them up onto the thing, rolled a 6, so they've moved forward a little bit, trying to get them into cover. Brought the rotor cannons forward slightly so they can start shooting down. Moved that Sekhmet with my Warlord just out into the open, which may not have been the best idea in the world, but I want to try and get some shots off back. Moved the Laser Vindicator slightly forward, just so that I can get a shot at the Land Raider. Brought the Castellax round a little bit so they can start shooting. That might not have been the wisest idea with that Leviathan bearing down on them. And also the other Terminators I've brought around the back, the Sekhmet there, and tried to get a few shots away as well. So we're on to our Psychic phase now, so hopefully I can do a little bit of damage now. Right, so turn 1, Thousand Suns Psychic phase. I managed to get quite a nice few powers off. I've got levitation on this unit. I've moved them the 12 inches. They've levitated over towards the Grey Slayers over here. Also, I've used the Castellax. I've cast the other of the Sekhmet powers through the Castellax. Their special rule, Psi Locus, they can use them as their origin of the power. So they've cast Psychic Maelstrom, which is a large blast template. It's strength 10, AP1, but it's only 12-inch range. So 12 inches is onto this guy's head. So we're going to roll to see if we scatter. No, that's a hit. So we can resolve that. I believe it's only 2 eyes. So strength 10, AP1, so 2s to wound. Yep, that's 2 guys. No cover save, I believe. So that's 2 guys from their dead. Went for Inferno on this squad of Sekhmet here. We got it off. Template landed, hit. We got 3 wounds, should I say, 5 hit. But Pete made all 3 of his saves, so we've not given him any casualties from that. So we also tried to cast Prescience on the rotor cannon squad, but unfortunately didn't get the required warp charge to do it. So on to our shooting phase. Thousand Suns shooting turn 1. I tried to run this tactical squad, but only rolled a 2, so the front one stumbled forward a little bit, just to keep them in coherency. Shot with the rotor cannons into the Grey Slayer squad. Got a few wounds, but he made all his saves. Also, I've shot the combi bolters on my Sekhmet. Again, got a few wounds, but he made all his saves. Now I'm going to try and shoot my Laser Destroyer Vindicator into the Land Raider in front of us. I did move this turn, so I can only fire 1 shot, but it is twin linked, so hopefully we can put a dent in this Land Raider. So we can hit. Oh, 2. So that's a hit. So this is strength 9, AP1. It's an ordnance, so it's roll 2d6, pick the highest. We need a 5 to glance, so come on, 6. Lovely. So we've got 1 penetrating hit. No cover save on that, I don't believe. Right, so let's roll on the damage table. Hopefully we can roll high again. That's a 4, AP1, so that's 6. So I believe that's immobilised.
Correct, immobilised.
And a hull point. That's quite a nice result there. I would have preferred it went boom, but can't have everything. Right, I'm going to shoot my Sekhmet here into this Grey Slayer squad in front of them. They've got the combi bolters with the Asphyx shells, which is nice. That's shred. So I'm going to roll these. I've got 10 shots, beating within 12. Combi bolters are twin linked. So try and get a few more hits. That's nice. 9 hits. Now 4s to wound, but with rerolls because of the Asphyx shells, grant them shred. So this is where Thousand Suns stuff starts coming into play. Oh, that's all but one. That's not bad. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 saves. Normal saves at AP5.
Cool. So 8 saves. We're looking at threats. They can only see 4 guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
that's not confident.
cool. So 2 failed. So lose 2 Grey Slayers.
My Castellax unit now are going to shoot at the Grey Slayer squad in front of them. We had a look and we've come to the conclusion that 3 of the bolters in the fist can see, so they've got aspect shells in, so we're going to have a pop at them first. So we need 3s to hit. That didn't go so well. Now we're going to fire our...
So now I'm kind of happy with that.
Oh no! Now we're going to fire our Mauler pattern.
That's where the pain comes.
Right. Again, 3s. No, not so great again. So that's 2. These are strength 6 AP3, so it's 2s to wound. That's 2 AP3 wounds.
Yeah, no armour saves. Front 2 guys are going to drop. And that weapon's pinning, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I need to roll a pinning test. And I get to re-roll it through Warrior's Metal. So, but I passed on first time. So right, happy days.
Right, so that's the end of the Thousand Suns' first turn. Went quite well. Pinged off immobilising the Land Raider was probably the best result I had. Definitely thinned out that Grey Slayer squad. I think they're going to need a morale check for losing 25%. But yeah, quite a successful first turn. The Castellax didn't really do as much as I'd like, but that's new model syndrome, I believe. So yeah, on to turn 2.
Space Wolves turn 2 movement phase. So the Grey Slayers who took a hammering from the Sekhmet and the Castellax are piling through that breach, with the Leviathan kind of jumping ahead of them a bit now, which is great. But then the other breach is kind of it's all gone a bit poorly there. The immobilising that Land Raider is a real problem, because it's bottlenecked that. So I'm having to fire my Cataphractii through on one side and my Grey Slayers through on the other, and it means that my Deathsworn inside are much further back than I want them to be, really, especially with some nasty weaponry pointing at them. And then on the far side, the Rhinos moved up and the other Grey Slayer squad's deployed, but they fumbled their difficult terrain to try and get up onto the Sky Shield, so they're just clustered around it now. That's the movement phase. We'll see where we go from here. Okay, Space Wolves turn 2 shooting phase. The 2 larger Grey Slayer squads have both ran, the +1 on their run being a real advantage, really getting in the Sekhmet's face, especially on that side of the board. The Leviathan's going to line up on the Castellax, and then we're going to start. I think we'll start shooting with the Land Raider. So the Land Raider's going to have a shot again at the Vindicator Laser Destroyer beast. So it'll be the one twin link las cannon again, full ballistic skill. So yeah, threes to hit, and then it will be 4s for a glance, 5 for a pen. No joy.
I can't see.
That's 2. You're safe. Remaining shooting from the Land Raider then. Multi-melt was ineffective against the Vindicator, but the Heavy Bolter done me proud and taken down 2 of those rotor cannons off that battlement, which is fantastic. It's significantly less than the firepower coming out of them. Next up, Rhino with a multi-melter is going to have a cheeky shot into the Sekhmet, so it's going to be 3s to hit, and it's a hit, and it will be 2s to a wound. So that is a wound, sir, and it'll be an instant kill, won't it? Because it's double toughness.
Yes. So. With my kind shields is +1 to my vulnerable, so it's a 4 up. Oh no, I've lost one.
Okay, so the Leviathan then finally getting up to be able to do something, get some shots into the nasty psychic Castellax. So we've got a Storm Cannon, so with strength 7 AP3, heavy 6, so 2s to hit, and that is 6 hits. And then we will be 4s because it's strength 7 toughness 7. So let's see if we can get 6 wounds. No, we've got 3 wounds. So Castellax onto their refractor field saves, I believe. Is that right?
Yep,
5 ups.
Straight onto my invulnerable. 5 up. 2 wounds.
Space Wolves turn 2 shooting then, in summary. It was reasonable. Took out some rotor cannons. The Leviathan had a pop into the Castellax. Unfortunately, them being 4 wounds and only taking 2, that was a bit of a shame. But it would have been nice if we could have knocked one of them back. And then this is going to take us into the assault phase. So the Grey Slayers are going to get up in the Sekhmet's face on both sides of the board, hopefully, being able to move, run, and charge. So we'll move on to that in the next phase. Space Wolves turn to assault phase then. Grey Slayer's got a mighty 10. They got it was a 6 traditionally, which would have got them in, but wasn't very happy with that. So using how the level 3 rolled the 1, got a mighty 10, got them right up in the face of them Sekhmet. Everyone's kind of moved up and in. There's a challenge between the Praetor and the Sergeant that scored the Power Fist, and the Praetor's actually the highest initiative. So the Praetor, Thousand Suns, is going to go first.
Right, okay. I actually declared the challenge because I want to try and get rid of that Power Fist. I'm initiative 5. I have 5 attacks because I've got digital lasers. It's a mastercrafted Paragon Blade, so I do get to re-roll 1 miss. It's 3s to hit because I'm a higher weapon skill. So, oh, I've got 2. Re-roll that. So that's 4 hits. Strength 5. AP 2. 3s to kill, so that will 3, be 4. So that's 3 normal and 1. Well, 3 AP2 and 1 murderous strike, but because he's not a multi-wound model.
Absolutely, but there's everything's normal power armor, so that's 4 dead Space Wolves. Okay, so initiative 4 step. Both the Sekhmet and the Space Wolves have piled in because they're all initiative 4. We've totted up the attacks. There's a power sword in that isn't going to make any difference, so we are looking at 24 attacks from the Space Wolves. So let's see what sort of damage we can do with this. This is going to be 4s to hit, because we're the same. So that's 13 hits. Cool, so they're actually going to be 3s to wound because they got Furious Charge from the Rite of War. So let's see if we can get some 3s. So that's 9 wounds, not a bad tally.
Right, allocation-wise, I'm going to take them on the power swords first. So I'm going to roll 6. Hopefully I won't roll 6 1s here because it's normal to upside, but we'll see. That's 1, a double 1, so that's 1 dead. But he does get his attacks back. It's the same initiative, and I'll do the next 3 saves, and that'll be my 9. That's fine. So 1 guy has died, but he will get his attacks back. Right, now getting my attacks back, I'm doing the power swords. The Sekhmet get 2 attacks as base. He's going to be 4s to hit, which is nice. I'll take that. Power swords, 4s again, but it is AP3, so... Oh, that's not bad at all. 3 AP3 wounds. So
that's 3 dead Space Wolves. Okay, down to the initiative 1 step then. We've got the power axe from the Space Wolf there. So he is going to be 4s to hit. So that's 2 hits. And because of the Furious Charge again, he is going to be 2s, because it's +1 strength on the axe. Plus Furious Charge, so 2s to wound. So that's 2 wounds at AP2, please, Dan.
Right, well that's 2 straight onto my invulnerable. Because of the kind shields, they're 4-ups on the Tartaros. 1 wound. So that's 1 wound taken off one of the remaining Sekhmet. Now I get to do my Chain Fist back. They are 2 attacks as standard, so 4s to hit, 1 hit, and 2s to kill. That's lovely, so that's 1 more gone.
Yeah, 1 more dead Space Wolf. Okay, so the Space Wolves didn't do too well there. 8 casualties against 3 on the Sekhmet. Because of the Rite of War, I get +1 to my result in an enemy's deployment zone, so that makes only 7. So they've got leadership of 8, which means I need a 4. So...
Oh, he's
done.
passed.
And they're in. They're staying there. So I was a bit concerned they might get swept by the Tartarus if they ran away, but looks like we're all gold. Happy Space Wolves.
Yes, I'm quite happy to stay there.
I'd rather stay. Yeah, cool. Not bad. Let's move on to the other assault. Cool. Summary then of Space Wolves turn 2. Assaults didn't go quite as well as I would have liked. The Sekhmet living up to their fearsome reputation there. It seems like all the internet hate's probably well justified. Which is a stark contrast, I should say, because in the previous games that Dan and I have played, they've died pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah, they have withered very quickly.
But despite technically losing both assaults, the Space Wolves have stayed in the fight and remain to keep fighting in those assaults.
Right, Thousand Suns movement, turn 2. We started with, I rolled for all my reserves. They've all come on, thankfully. I've got a Rhino here that is outflanked with 5 veterans in with combi weapons. Next up, Javelin here with the las cannons and a multi-melter. That rolled for deep strike on that. He did scatter, but only 3 inches, so he's. I'm pretty sure you can figure out what he wants to have a shot at. Also, my Fire Raptor has come on, aiming towards that Grey Slayer squad. We're going to have a shot at them. The only other movement I did, I bought this tactical squad. I've moved them a little forward towards that tactical unit, and I've just moved the remaining rotor cannons up front. Also, I just rotated my Vindicator slightly, and I've pushed my Castellax forward towards the Leviathan. He's my main issue at the moment, I think, so I need to deal with him before I need to worry about those Deathsworn in the Land Raider. Right, Psychic Phase, quite a low-key one for me here. I didn't throw too much out. I've cast Terrify onto the unit down there, the Grey Slayers. They've that come off, so what that does, that causes fear and -1 leadership to them, and they also have to take a leadership test at the end of the Psychic Phase, which Pete done and passed quite successfully. Also, I've put Forewarning onto my Fire Raptor, which is just a 4-up invulnerable save, so technically it's the Jinx save, but I don't have to take snapshots on the weapons. I did try to get Precognition off on my Praetor, but again failed. So, like I say, quite a low-key Psychic Phase. I'm hoping to do a little bit better in the shooting phase. Thousand Suns turn to shooting phase now. Psychic Phase wasn't that fantastic, so we're going to press on. First thing I've got shooting is a Javelin against the Leviathan. Hopefully hitting that in the rear, but with his 4-up invulnerable, he's a very awkward customer to bring down. So first up, I'm going to shoot my multi-melter. So that's a 2-up with always misses, and it's a 2-up to hit because it has strafing run against ground targets. So now the las cannon, this is twin linked, so hopefully this one will hit. Yep, that's strength 9, armor 12 on the rear, I believe, isn't it? So we need a 3 to glance. Nope, that didn't go too well. So
fantastic.
Going to have a snapshot with the multi-melter off the Veteran's Rhino. So this did move 12, so this is going to be a 6 to hit, so no problem at all. Oh, that was close. So really, I'm going to have to move on to the Vindicator. I did want to shoot at the Land Raider, but I'm going to have to take it out on the Leviathan. Right, now shooting my Laser Destroyer Vindicator at the Leviathan. I'm going to overcharge it because it didn't move, so this is 3 shots. I do have to roll a d6, and if I get a 1, it will take a whole point, but these are twin linked, so that's 2 hit. Oh, nope, so that was still 2 hit. This is Strength 9 Ordnance, AP1, so it's 2d6, pick the highest. It's 14 on the front, I believe, correct. So 5 to glance. That's 1 pen for the first one. Second one, that's 2 pen, but the Space Wolves Leviathan still gets his invulnerable save over a 4-up.
1 made, 1 through.
1 through. So this is AP1, so it's +2 on the damage chart. So I'm hoping for a high one here. Oh. So
it's gone. That's gonna be a big hole.
Right, let's see if I take a whole point. No, I survived.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely smoked it.
Oh.
The fear unit as well, the one you were terrified
That is the scary one. That is the reason I brought the Vindicator, and he's never really pulled it off before. But
pretty proud.
Well,
Wicked.
Pete 99% of the time makes his saves on it.
How am I going to deal with a Fire Raptor now?
Oh, he's only got a 4-up invulnerable as well. Okay, that's a big one for me. I think that's that's one of the least scary. I've still got all these choppy units to make it into combat yet, so I'm just going to run away. I think is my it's going to be my call of the day. Right, so we left a little bit of a crater where the Leviathan used to be. We may have been a bit dramatic, but I think it looks very cool. Then we moved over to the Fire Raptor. He come on. He was quite successful in his shooting. He managed to one of the auto cannon turrets managed to kill one of the wolves, an actual wolf, not a space wolf, hanging out the front of them guys. The other one shot and killed the Rhino quite successfully. 3 penetrating hits and a glance. That went very well. And then the cannon on the front, with it being Strength 6, AP3, shredded some of those Grey Slayers down there. That's gone very well. This actual Fire Raptor I used to have in my Raven Guard force. It used to be black and was very, very unsuccessful. It used to crash and land on my own troops. People had snapshot it out of the sky very easily. But since I painted it red, it really has paid its points. It really does, especially on infantry heavy armies. It makes a massive hole for them. So yeah, it's kind of an auto include in my army at the moment. So yeah, quite a successful shooting phase. We're on to combat now. Thousand Suns Assault Phase Turn 2. We started with this combat over here with my Praetor. Him being with that Paragon Blade, he made quite short work of those guys with some power swords as well. That is a bonus because they are a psychic unit, which means they get an extra victory point for that. So we get one for killing the unit and then an extra one for being killed by a psychic unit. The other combat we had with the other Sekhmet, that went equally as well. I did lose 3 wounds on that one. Pete done quite well with his Power Fist. He did lose 4 guys, but because of the malediction we had on them, they were -1 leadership. They took their fear test, failed that, unfortunately, so they were down to weapon skill 1. But Pete miraculously rolled, he needed 5s to hit and got 5s on everything except 1 dice, so he did make a bit of a dent, but I thinned them out. They passed their leadership test quite easily, and yeah, so quite a successful round of combat for me. I think Pete's going to be wanting to look to hit me back quite hard now, so we'll see how this goes.
Space Wolves turn 3 movement phase. The Grey Slayers who had their Rhino popped have moved round, and they're going to get ready to put some pain into the Praetor and his Sekhmet squad, because I'm really rather peeved that they got that secondary objective with the Witch Scorned there from killing something with the Psychic unit. Tucked behind the, coming out of the Land Raider now, finally behind that silo, we've got the Death Sworn with the Priest and the Wolf. Thankfully the Wolf can get a bit of a line of sight to the Sekhmet, so we're going to get a charge in on that. What's that, lassie? Sekhmet behind the silo. So that's going to be a bit of a winner, hopefully. I'm using my second Howl of the Death Wolf, which was the first one was used off the right wall. This one's used off the Warlord trait. This turn, so it means I can re-roll failed run and charges. The Cataphracti squad that are lazily walking out from behind that Land Raider, I'm going to try and pitch them over towards the Castellax and see if we can bring them down and make a hole in them. Really just try and strengthen this centre a bit more. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Space Wolves shooting phase turn 3 then. Starting with the Grey Slayers around the Rhino. There was 5 of them. They fired their plasmas at the Sekhmet, lost their sergeant in the process through Gets Hot, and got 4 plasma shots off onto the Sekhmet,
4 plasma wounds, yeah.
Which the Sekhmet quite successfully saved.
Rather invulnerable.
Really rather disappointed. Really rather disappointed with that. And then the only other shooting was the Land Raider. Sorry, the Land Raider shot at the Fire Raptor to no effect, and the Vindicator to no effect using Power of the Machine Spirit. And the Cataphracti put some cheeky combi bolter shots into the Castellax and managed to knock a wound off the one that's just regenerated it through It Will Not Die. So not really a very effective shooting phase, to be honest, but I'll settle for a wound on the Castellax for now. We're hopefully getting it into Assault now. We've got Howl of the Death Wolf in play, which should improve. Space Wolves turn 3 Assault phase then. The Grey Slayers against the Sekhmet over there on the flank got wiped without doing any damage to the Sekhmet. Really rather disappointing. Despite having Howl of the Death Wolf, the Cataphracti failed their charge distance, as did the Death Swan trying to get to the other Sekhmet. So for the Assaulty army, that was really rather poor. They should have been well in on both of them, and they didn't even get close to managing it. So
to be honest, you lost more models than I did in your turn. So yeah,
that's true. That is true.
Which is quite brutal, really.
I know I'm pretty nervous now. There's overwhelming firepower from the Thousand Suns on there, and my hard-hitting units I don't think are going to get in before they're at the very least thinned down, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dan's going to concentrate some firepower, particularly on those Death Sworn, because we both know how broken they are. I'm not feeling confident at all. I think the Thousand Suns have definitely held this little front on Tisca.
I think, in reality, I am going to put a lot of fire. Well, I'm going to put my firepower into them, but I think I might come to you. I might make it more interesting.
Very charitable.
I consider just turning around and running away. I could run away, but let you chase me across the board. But, we'll see. I haven't fully made my mind up on what I'm going to do this term, but. Thousand Suns turn 3 movement phase. I've started trying to. I did end up with a few units over this side of the table. I'm starting to try and push them over. I'm trying to sort of maybe close a little bit of a noose around him now. He does have 2 very hard hitting units, but I sort of smelling blood in the water now. I really do want to try and push in and sort of thin them out as much as I possibly can. I've literally moving all my units towards him pretty much. The Castellax, my 2 units of Sekhmet, my Warlord. The Vindicator has stayed still. He's going to try and make a dent in that Land Raider. That'd be nice if that exploded and killed a few people around it. Maybe wishful thinking. Pushed my units on the landing pad up so they've got a line of sight at units they can have a shot at. Put the Fire Raptor into hover mode, and he's just skimmed back over towards there, so he can put a lot of firepower down into them 2, again, heavy hitting units in front of him. So going to move on to the Psychic phase, try and buff my units and see if I can dish out some damage. Thousand Suns turn 3 Psychic phase. Rolled, well, with our Rite of War we can roll 2 d6 and pick the highest to add to our warp charge. Rolled a double 1, so that wasn't great, but got precognition off on my Praetor, which is nice, that he gets to re-roll his failed to hit and to wound rolls and his failed saves. Also, my other Sekhmet got Psychic Maelstrom off, which is a Strength 10 AP1 template, large blast template. I focused that through one of the Castellax, going for the Land Raider. We did hit, but unfortunately rolled a 1 on the damage chart, so it only rolled a 1 on the penetration, so it only come up to Strength 11. Unfortunately, not doing anything. Not the greatest Psychic phase, but well, hopefully the shooting phase will go a little bit better for us. So, Thousand Suns turn 3 shooting. First up, I'm going to shoot my Javelin into the back of this Land Raider, hopefully trying to make a dent. I've got a multi-melter and a twin-link las cannon on there, so first of all I'm going to try and hit with the las cannon. Thankfully this one is twin-linked, so yep, that hits. This is Strength 9, Armour 14, so it's 5s to glance, 6 to pen. Feeling confident here, nice 6. No, nothing. So now the multi-melter. Now we're within half range, so I really would like to hit with this. No, every time. I think they need to put better sights on Legion multi-melters, to be honest.
I'm terrified. I'm not laughing at Dan, I'm laughing because neither of us hit with
no, multi-melters never hit. We have them on our Rhinos, they always miss. Yeah, that's just a way it goes. We fired the Vindicator and the Javelin at the Land Raider. We've got that down to 1 whole point and it's shaken. Next up we've shot my Sekhmet and the Castellax at the command squad with the Praetor. The Castellax actually, the Sekhmet took 1 down, and the Castellax now have taken another one. So they've lost 2 guys off the front. That was quite successful. What we've got left to shoot now, the Fire Raptor. We've got my other Sekhmet squad, the rotor cannons and the tactical squad that are up there. We're going to probably sort of try and concentrate fire on these Deathsworn, I think. Now I fired the tactical squad into the Grey Slayers at the back there with the combi weapons. Managed to kill 3 of them. That was quite good. I was going to go after the last guy, but I put the rotor cannons and the Sekhmet into the Deathsworn. To be honest, the Asphyx shells I've got on both units really paid off on that with re-roll into wound, especially on the rotor cannons. They're 5 to wound, but with the re-roll it makes them so much more viable. The Sekhmet actually managed to kill 2 with their bolt of fire, which was very impressive, seeing as the Deathsworn all have Artificer armour at a 2 up, so Pete didn't do too well on his saves there. And the Fire Raptor has again done a fair bit of damage, shooting in and thinning a few things out. He's quite a potent machine, really. So yeah, a very successful shooting phase. Very happy with that, really, to be honest. So now them Deathsworn are a bit more manageable. Thousand Suns Assault phase, turn 3. We successfully managed to charge the Sekhmet and the Praetor into the Deathsworn unit. Maybe a silly idea because they are quite brutal, but we need to try and take them somehow, and the Praetor is quite a beast on his own. Tried to charge the Castellax into the command squad with the Praetor, but unfortunately didn't roll the required distance. Unfortunately, we don't get all the silly re-rolls like all the Space Wolves. So, yep, hopefully we can try and make a hole in these Deathsworn. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to deal with that Praetor and his unit next turn. So, hopefully make a hole and see how we go from there. Right, the Sekhmet and the Praetor have made it into combat. The Priest issued a challenge, which I've taken with my Praetor. Unfortunately, they've got defensive grenades, so I lose my bonus for charging. It's weapon skill 6 versus weapon skill 5, so it's 3s to hit, because I'm a higher initiative as well. I do have precognition on him, which is rerolls to hit and reroll to wound, and you also get to reroll your failed saving throw. So here we go, see if we can hitting on 3s with rerolls. That's all hit. Again, +1 strength, so 3s again with rerolls. All but 1. That's 5 AP 2 wounds.
Okay, so I've got 5 to take on the priest. 2 of them were Murderous Strike, so I have to do them first. He's got a 5 up refractor field save, so I'm got to do them one at a time, haven't I? Because they're instant death. So first one, 5 up. He's died. So that's the priest gone. He's hit the dirt. That means the wounds roll over, but they're AP2, so the other guys have got no save now. So all 3 of the Death Sword and the Wolf bite the dust as well. That's the entire squad wiped. So I think you need to consolidate.
Yeah, I'll just 1d6 at 1 inch, so I stumble
over my rotting corpse.
I think I got very, very, very lucky there. Then I'll hold my hands up there. That was very lucky rolling, I think, and because them Death Sworn are brutal. So I think it's going to be a Praetor off Warlord fight next turn. It looks like, and
I'm not optimistic. Got lightning claws.
It'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Cool.
The poor old wolves. Well, we're fighting for our planet. It's
I'm just fighting to not lose again on TV. It's fine.
That's all right.
Cool. Space Wolves turn 4 movement phase then. We're getting an absolute pasting at the moment, so we really want to try and pull something out of the bag here. The Grey Slayer, who's out on his own, he's still fighting strong. He's going to run at the Sekhmet. He's rather annoyed that everything else is dying, so he's just going to run in there. The Praetor and his command squad are moving in on the robots, primarily because I've got more weaponry that could hurt them than that ridiculously scary Praetor who's munching through my army, so I'm going to go for them. Okay, Space Wolves turn 4 shooting phase. A couple of combi plasmas out of the command squad into the Sekhmet and the Praetor, which they just shrugged off like they were throwing peas at him or something. And the other Grey Slayer had shots before he went in as well. Again, no damage. Both units got the charge off. They're stuck in now, ready for the assault. And so that takes us straight into the assault phase. The Space Wolves Praetor has issued a challenge, which the Thousand Suns Praetor has accepted. Yeah. We're both at initiative 5, so let's get on to that. Okay, so starting with the Praetor then, he's got the Relic Claws out of Book 4. So he is 4 by profile, 5 for 2 claws, 6 for digital lasers, and 7 for charging. So he's a lot of attacks on the charge, but he is going to be... they're both the same weapon skill, sorry, so he's going to be 4s to hit, and then it's +1 strength on the claws, so it'll be 3s to wound. So
with shred as well.
With shred, yes. So 7 attacks then. 4s to hit. Mastercrafted, so I can reroll 1. Cool. So 5 hits, and then 3s with reroll. So that will be 5, please, and that's AP. It's AP3. So
right. So I need to make 5 saves on my Praetor, which is a 2 up. But my dice have been going well today. They're going to
continue to go very well for you.
I didn't want to curse it. Right, so I get my 5 attacks back.
Yep.
I've still got precognition, so that's rerolls to hit and reroll to wound. So 4s to hit. Thank God for them rerolls. Only 2 hit. And +1 strength, so 3s to wound with rerolls again. That's 2 AP 2 wounds.
Yep.
I would like to murder a strike then.
The Praetor's in Cataphracti, so he's got his 4 up in Run save. So 2 4-ups. No, so that's 2 wounds. So that takes him down to 1 wound. Okay, so that's the conclusion of the Space Wolves turn 4 assault phase. Everyone laid into each other. Managed to knock a cheeky wound off of the one of the Sekhmet, who was only on 1 wound. So that put him out of the fight. Sekhmet also floored one of the Cataphractii command squad. Obviously, the Space Wolves unfortunately lost some wounds on the Praetor, which technically means we lose the assault, but because we've got the Legion standard, everyone's fearless, so we're staying in it. And your Warlord trait would have kept you in it if it had gone the other way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it made him fearless.
So yeah, everyone continues to fight. See what happens in the next turn.
Thousand Suns turn 4. I've moved up towards the things. I've moved some of my melters and other stuff that can shoot this Land Raider. I'm really just manoeuvring in so we can try and get a charge on the Praetor and his unit. We're going to try and see what we can pull off in the psychic phase to buff the units that are going into combat, and then try and strip this last whole point off this Land Raider and see if we can get that killed as well. So all going well. This turn should possibly be the end, but we'll see.
Wowzers. What a game. Well, Dan, you're a butcher.
Yeah, should be a World Eats player.
I think it's fair to assume, we started on Dan's turn, we did the movement, we told you what he was doing, and then all of a sudden, boff, we switched to the post-game. I think it's quite obvious what happened. Tell us, please, Dan, though.
I moved in, my Castellax managed to get the charge. I think my Praetor did most of the damage on his own, pretty much. Wiped them all down. One of my Power Swords, Sekhmet, took the remaining Grey Slayer, and the Castellax finished off the Standard Bearer, and that was all she wrote. I think.
Was it. Now, I might say, this obviously is not the result we wanted. We did want a closer game for you. However,
yeah, I think
please.
We had a practice game on Friday night where we took both these lists.
Exactly the same. No, apart from I'd rolled different.
Yeah, it's exactly. And actually, out of chance, it was the same. I had a different Warlord trait, but this one was better.
I had the same Warlord trait, but I had, if anything, slightly less powerful
powers,
psychic powers. This time I had better.
By chance, we had the same deployment.
Yep.
And it was probably one of the tightest games we've ever had.
It was literally, we were adding up at the end, and we weren't sure.
We finished turn 5. Yeah, we finished turn 5, and we ran the game, like, stopped there, and we had no idea who had won. And we had to sit and work out victory points for killing units, secondary points for Space Wolves killing Psychers, and secondary points for Psychers killing Space Wolf units.
Yeah.
And
didn't take quite as long today.
No, it was a bit shorter.
No, yeah.
And I think that just proves the vagaries of battle reports. On the channel here, we always strive to give you the best game possible and the most exciting game. And we revise lists, didn't we? And
we try and balance.
And we got as much new stuff in as possible for you. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. We can't have control over that.
No, and I think. We could have gone right. We're not happy with that. That's going to swing the game massively. So we'll refilm that, and we'll do that so that unit doesn't take so much damage.
Sure.
We could sit and do that so that you have a really exciting nail-biting game. But that's not how the game played.
No.
The Space Wolves move forward.
No, nobody wants to see a staged game.
No, exactly. That's not what it's about. So.
But it's worth noting, though, that we do have 3 more games to rebalance. So
say that.
It's all you got to do is wipe me off the board 3 times now, and then you'll be in the lead. So. No, to be honest, I am renowned for my terrible dice rolling. It is. I swear I have some curse. Well, but it's ridiculous. It's dice. They're random.
But both of us are the same. Both of us are really poor at our dice rolling. Yes. In our practice game stop laughing. On our practice game on Friday, for example, I made 14 saves on my Leviathan consecutively in over a few phases.
And it was like 1 whole point of it the entire game.
Yeah, it was just monstrous. It wasn't going anywhere. And then today, did I make any? I think I made maybe a handful of saves.
Yeah. Not many. Not when it counted. Anyway.
Not when it counted. No. So it's the way it goes, isn't it?
I think I nailed nearly all of my invulnerable saves today.
Your Sekhmet Terminators were unbelievable. The saves you made, and
but also this chap, right? Oh. So Praetor Tribune. So he is the Praetor Tribune, and it's 185 points as he stock.
He's 180 points stock, but I have to use my Right of War. He needs to be a level 3 Psyker, and it's 25 points per level.
So that's another 75 points. So he's an expensive unit, but the powers that he can take and put on himself. It's that, like,
well, they are random. I
appreciate they are, and it is random. But the one you had today was allowing you to re-roll to hit, to wound, and save.
Saves, yeah.
Yes, that precognition is it. When I first started with the psychic powers, I wanted to go for the shooty and but just looking at it, buffing these units that are going to be in combat is definitely the way to go.
And I suppose you have that inevitability as well. You could quite easily, as a Thousand Suns player, sit and go, okay, right, well, I want to try and avoid combat, so I'm going to go for the shooty stuff. But actually, addressing the inevitability that the Space Wolves are going to get to me and I'm going to be in combat, so actually I'm going to up my combat game.
Definitely.
Is a massive counter defense, isn't it?
To be honest, I think I would run him. Even it's not so much that this list was tailored towards wolves.
No, that's not. No, agreed.
But it just, I do like to sort of keep it balanced. I do want a good bit of shooting. I knew there was a Leviathan coming, so that's why the Vindicator was in there.
Sure.
It was my.
It was a good counter.
Yeah, because I have a Leviathan, but I didn't really want to put him in this list. I didn't.
No.
Feeling like it's the first battle of
Well, I think
Prospero.
that's it.
Technically,
with the Land Raider and the Leviathan, they're two big, heavy support units. They're big, strong units. I can only really have picked that by putting a Spartan in, on my side, and then on your side you had the Vindicator, which is perfectly capable of taking either of them out.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a good counter. It's a good balance, right? And then the Fire Raptor, whilst it's not a counter for the other one, it's bringing so much anti-infantry fire.
Yeah.
But it's just a brutal unit.
It's a good
and one thing I hadn't appreciated till very recently is that you can fire your main gun at one unit. You've got your gimbal mounted auto cannons that you're firing at individual units, and you've got Power of the Machine Spirit to fire your missiles at something else.
Yeah.
That's super heavy territory.
Yeah, they're really great, those fire
You engage in 4 units. It's incredible.
Especially with that big AP3 cannon on the front.
That is
with
monstrous.
7 shots. It's strength 6, so it's 2s to kill most infantry. It's gonna wipe out the majority of a tactical squad.
It's 2s and 2s, strafe and run, 2s to hit, 2s to wound, strength 6, bomb, gone.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic. When I had it before, I swear it just never did anything, and then. Mind you, I never used to hover him. I think that was I used to come on and...
Yeah, I think not being scared to hover, and because I think there's a fear, people have a fear with flyers. Sorry to go on a tangent, but I think people have a bit of fear with flyers where I think, I see it anyway, where they bring them on, they keep moving and they're nervous about coming down into hovering and stuff, but actually, so if you... you're still getting to jink, you're still getting a 4-up save, Even, it puts you on snapshots, but...
Power of Machine Spirit, you still get to fire 1 at full ballistic skill, don't you? So.
And your waist mounts are twin linked anyway.
It's good.
So
we brought back a couple of one of you's brought back one model, one of them's brought back a smoking crater, because we had an interactive.
That's my favourite bit of the game.
We had an interactive battlefield. So because we used all the loose rocks, we kind of scraped a crater away from the Leviathan and stuck a blast mark in the middle. So the Leviathan. It was tough really to pick best unit for you, Pete, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because there was smoke on the Rhino as well and the Land Raider, so it was tempting to. But no. Well, I think that's it. To be honest, there wasn't an outstanding unit in the Space Force. There are units that have performed and are outstanding units, but not in this game. They're just with that Land Raider getting immobilised and then creating a roadblock between those rocks, channeling me around it. I probably, in hindsight, should have got my Death Sworn out quicker and gotten forward, but I was nervous of the Fire Raptor and other things kicking around, and I was too hestant. I should have just got them out and got them running forward quicker, to be honest.
Okay. And justifiably, Dan, you've brought your Praetor Tribune.
He is consistently, even when he was just normal Tribune without the psychic powers, he has consistently performed.
Yeah.
He just, I do love a named character, but in this campaign you can't bring a named character more than once. So, and I felt with it being the first game, it was more, technically it's the first Battle of Prospero, it's where the Thousand Suns pop up and start actually fighting.
That's it. And I think as the campaign goes on, we'll try and keep it a bit like the Inferno thing, so the Wolves get a hammering like doing so well, so then we bring Custodes and Sisters in, and no, we're not going to. It's going to be Wolves and
we can get Custodes for you if you want to. We can get you some, it's not a problem.
I am avoiding those guys.
But that's the key thing to remember. This is the first of 4 games. The second game has been booked in. We've got it in a couple of weeks' time. Is that right? Are we going to say same points or a little bit more? Or
we'll have a look.
We're going to work that out.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we'll probably go a little bit more, to be honest, because we got. I do have another unit I want to squeeze in as well, which is on order from Forge World now.
Great
new releases. So
okay.
If I can get that painted.
A big thing with a big scythe on, maybe.
Yeah, that'll be the one.
Fantastic.
I tried to resist and failed miserably.
nothing.
No, especially because Pete said, "Oh, I'm in Nottingham. Do you want me to pre-order it for you?"
Yes.
Oh, go on then.
And we're gonna bring you a different board as well, so that we'll change the visual up for you every single time. So that'd be cool. All that I to say is, gents, thank you so much for coming again.
No, thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Looking forward to you again very soon. And don't forget, if you want to ask these guys directly any questions about how they painted their armies, or how their game style is, you can contact them via their own Facebook page. So Pete, we have
Instagram would be
sorry.
it's Uplander double P. I'm sure Brains will.
I'll flap it on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And Dan, yours is
1K Sun.
Okay, Sun, fantastic. And don't forget, photos from this game will be available on the Facebook page, so go there and check that out. You can also go to the 30K channel Facebook page too and have a look. Photos there and the Instagram page. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.